Arctic melt expected to push up sea levels around Britain. The Arctic is warming 3.5 times faster than the global average, scientists have warned, raising new security threats for the UK. Melting Arctic ice is opening up more routes for shipping and military vessels, and the potential to drill for new reserves of gas, oil, and natural minerals in an otherwise virtually unspoiled ecosystem. The continent has long been warming faster than the rest of the world. As the sea ice disappears, its white surface that reflects sunlight gives way to darker ocean underneath that absorbs the heat instead. Today, the United Nations World Meteorological Organization, WMO, warned the Arctic is on course to warm 3.5 times faster than the rest of the world over the next 5 years, making it at least 2.4 Celsius warmer than the recent average. It comes as the UK's Foreign Secretary David Lammy tours the region to assess threats from Russia and climate change, calling it an increasingly important frontier for geopolitical competition and trade. On Tuesday, he announced new UK funding to work with Iceland on monitoring Arctic waters, for AI to detect hostile state activity and for research on the impact on the UK. Arctic melt is expected to push up sea levels around Britain's coastline and fuel worse coastal flooding. It will shift the jet stream, disrupting the UK's weather system in ways not yet fully understood. Klaus Dodds, geopolitics professor at Royal Holloway, said less sea ice in the Arctic will likely attract heightened commercial and military activity by third parties that are not allies of the UK, primarily Russia and China. He said the UK should prepare to operate in the region without the US as a reliable ally, while Russia will continue to target critical infrastructure in the North Atlantic and European Arctic, all of which may be ever more accessible. Ed Arnold from security think tank RUSI said further melt will mean that the Russians would have more control over the Northern Sea route via which ships can access waters around Britain. The security threat is changing pretty fundamentally as vessels can more easily travel through the Arctic to waters containing gas pipelines or data cables supplying Europe, he added. The WMO report also warned a dangerous new warming threshold was on the horizon for the first time. 10 years ago, under the landmark Paris Agreement, world leaders promised to try to limit warming to no more than 2 Celsius above pre-industrial levels, and ideally stick to 1.5 Celsius. At the time, both those thresholds felt a long way off. But just 10 years later, today's report forecasts for the first time ever a chance of breaching 2 Celsius of warming at some point in the next 5 years. The chances are exceptionally unlikely, probably no more than 1%, said Professor Adam Scaife from the Met Office Hadley Center, who worked on the report. But such a forecast would have been effectively impossible just a few years ago, in a sign of how quickly the climate is changing. Professor Scaife added, "It is shocking in that sense that 2 degrees is possible. However, it's not shocking because we thought it might be plausible at this stage, and indeed it is. And unless something changes dramatically, 2 Celsius will become increasingly likely, increasingly soon," the authors warned, driving more extreme weather and migration as homelands become unlivable. The WMO also warned temperatures are likely to again hit 1.5 Celsius above pre-industrial levels over the next 5 years, after doing so temporarily in 2024.